Takehitsu Gaming. This is Takehitsu speaking, and today I'm going to bring you to another Let's Play series. So today we're going to start the game BattleBrothers. Now, this game is a very unique game in many ways. It's essentially what you would call a niche game, so it caters to a very specific type of play. It's tactical, very challenging, very hard game. Okay, that didn't work at all. Let's see here. So I go with Volsung, which is a Viking name. It's an old Viking clan. And in this game, you're hosting a mercenary crew. You're not hosting it, you become the leader of it. And you have to manage them and succeed as a group of mercenaries. So if the world falls around you, you obviously fail. If you die, you fail. You know, it's a very difficult game, and it's a very different type of management, as well as it's very tactical and very challenging. So let's get started here. I'm gonna do Iron Man. So I'm basically still a newbie at this game. Iron Man basically means I can't save it and I can't load it from previous locations. It will save when I stop playing and it'll pick up right then. My people die, they die. The life keeps going on in real life, and life keeps going on in this game. It's the preferred method to play. You can't get any sort of achievements or anything like that if you don't turn Iron Man on, and I'm more of a hardcore gamer anyway, so I tend to play with things like that. Alrighty. It all went wrong. 2 days ago, the company was hired to track down Hoggart the Weasel and his band of raiders, but it was them who found you first. An ambush. Some joke about horses cut short by an arrow to the throat. Arrows shooting in from everywhere and nowhere. Men holler and scream, a great volume before death. As the hail subsides, you draw your weapons with the rest of your men, only to collapse to your knees. An arrow has punctured your side. You shout out in pain. A harried glance sees the men charge without you to make a valiant last stand, met in force as steel clashes with steel. You meet eyes with the captain. A last nod before his throat is cut. You're left in command now of what few men remain. Trembling in pain, you lean on your sword, and with all the will you can muster, you slowly rise again. To the end. Alright. So this is your first battle. This is the opening to every game, regardless of how it is. And in this battle, the nice thing is you can't lose anybody, but it's still a very difficult. It can be a very difficult battle. So what you see here, each one of these pogs is essentially one of your men. This guy is has a crossbow and is a crossbow wielder. So, things to take note. Your actions are here on the top. This is the turn order, so it shows you who's acting next and in what order. These two already acted, so they're ahead of my guys in the turn order. You have action points, which defines how many actions they can take, and moving in itself costs action points as well. You see his head armor. He's obviously not wearing a helmet. Their clothing armor, their health, and their morale. So if your morale breaks a certain amount, your guy will panic and run away. These guys have the blue flag. That means they're extremely high morale right now, and that's because they just ambushed you and slaughtered all your guys. So you know, it's what it is. I'm going to start. I'm going to shoot this guy. We hit him. We did a lot of damage. if I move, I will not be able to reload because it costs 2 AP to shoot and 7 to reload, and that is your entire guy's action bar. So that's just something to keep in mind. Meinrad. It has very Germanic name, yeah. Okay, so he can't move far enough and swing. So I'm just gonna end his turn. And then we have Wilfried. Wilfried will stab us. That dude has some serious hair poking up there. Wow. So, man, Meinrad is taking a lot of damage. Like I said, they can't die in the tutorial battle. You can't actually lose this fight, which is nice. If you notice, there's a little bag right here next to this dude. What that means is that he's dropped gear, and it's just a spear. Like, if you hold your mouse over it, you can actually see it. It appears as a little spear. But that's not really something I'm worried about right now. Alright. We're going to surround this dude and kill him. Now, if you see, his health is locked out at 1. That kill right there would have at least knocked him out or killed him in any other battle. So, what we see here, Meinrad is badly injured, or light wounds. If your guy gets knocked down in a battle, there's a chance where at the end of the battle, instead of being dead, they'll just have a very serious injury. And most serious injuries have lasting effects that will last the rest of their life. For example, you know, having your fingers cut off, or having a cracked spine, you're paralyzed from the waist down, just things like that. So what you're looking at here is the skull is how many guys they've killed. The sword is how much damage they dealt. Obviously, that's how much experience they've got. And this is how much damage they've taken. So he basically died. You can click continue or on loot to go to the next screen. And every single battle you get into, you want to loot everything. It's one of the very few ways to actually make money in the game. You're alive, you won. The adrenaline fades, and in its wake, you can't help but sink back to the ground. Gritting your teeth, you snap the arrow shaft. Your chest heaves, pain for breath, everything blurs. The company has been devastated, cut down to but a few men. And that bastard Hoggart did justice to his name, fleeing like the weasel he is. What now, Captain? A voice says from behind you. It's Meinrad, who sits down beside you, bedding his bloodied axe on his legs. You turn to him to reply, but before you can answer, he continues. Bernhard's dead. They slit his throat. And he was a good man and a damn good leader. But all it took was one mistake. That makes you the one in charge now, don't it? Alvar joins the two of you, still breathing heavily. Then Wilfried the Hound. Save the ceremony and anointments for another day. Let's give the men a good burial and return to Dunkeltal to collect our pay. The Weasel's men are slain after all. Besides, Captain, we ought to see to that wound before we lose you, too. Wouldn't want to leave Alvar in charge, right? So be it. Alrighty, so what you see here is the world map, and you see a couple different things. Okay, so there's little lakes. That's reminiscent. This is like a swampland. You see trees. There's two different types. Honestly, it doesn't make a huge difference on the type. If you get fight in a battle there, you're going to be in a forest area. These are hills. These are also hills, but these are rock. These are like almost mountain level, and this is mountain status. There's more swamp, and then there's plain lands, okay? You travel fastest along the road. Each one of these has a different speed that you move through. They unlock a different... if you get into a battle on them, they do a different battle. And here's the first city that we're going to go to. So I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to unpause it. And you can see your little pog moves around. Oh, look. There's a stronghold down there. Okay, so that's one of the neutral things you can walk into. Kill things and get paid. Well, you won't get paid for it. You'll get loot, though. What a sorry display it must be for the onlookers as you arrived in Dunkeltal. The four bloodied and beaten mercenaries down on their luck. The man who hired the company days ago, Lothar the Eldar, no doubt had expected you to return in a more glorious fashion. Still, he welcomes you to his house and offers bread and wine, while a servant fetches a healer. Few words are exchanged, and except for the occasional grunted wheeze as an elderly man with shaky hands tends to your wound. A pin pierces your skin, the first of many stitches to come. You grit your teeth till you think you hear one break. Lothar the Elder sits beside you and asks if you took care of Hogarth. You shake your head. We killed his men, but the weasel eluded our blades in the end. The healer waves around a glowing fireball, suggesting he wants to push it into your room. You nod, and he does so. For a moment, that's all there is. You are not a man, but a pinch of fire, flesh from a flame, a golem of pain. Lothar the Eldar hands you a goblet of water. You did well, sellsword. The brigands have been removed, though it is a shame that Hogarth still lives. We expect to get paid for this. Lothar the Eldar gasps. Well, naturally, 400 crowns is agreed upon. He gestures toward a servant who rushes to your side with the paying hand. I wonder, may I make use of your services one more time? I'd very much like to end that headache that is Hogarth once and for all, and would pay you again, of course, another 400 crowns, shall we say? Meinrad scoffs and turns to drink more wine, but Wilfrid the Hound stands to speak. Yes, the company is in ruins, but we will rebuild it! Without the Volsung, Meinrad would drink the crowns away and end up begging on the streets, and Alvar, by the gods, we all know. He'd go chasing the women folk until one stove his rotted head in. We need the Volsung. It is all we have. What say you, Captain? Meinrad burps and raises his cup to you. Alvarly playfully thumbs his nose and nods. Kill that bastard Hogarth or not. It's up to you, Captain. Yes, we have unfinished business with Hogarth. Lothar the Eldar claps his hands in satisfaction. Excellent, my little birds. We need some time to find where Hogarth is hiding now. In the meantime, I suggest you see about stocking up on supplies so you'll be good and ready to end this when the time comes. I shall see you in a few days' time at the latest. As you leave the Elder's house and stand on the outskirts of Dunkeltal, Wilfrid the Hound seeks a word with you. We need more men, Captain. I know I gave a big speech back there, but bravado won't do shite. We need more warm bodies in the ranks. Figure we find 3 good men, buy them some decent weapons, and dress them in the best armor we can afford. The man pauses to glance around. I bet this Bodunk town's got a desperate peasant or two looking for a new life. Or we could travel to Hellestad in the northwest. Them city folk aren't always as hardy as these country bumpkins, but we're more likely to find men with fighting experience, stopping the rest there. That's what we will do. So, this is what your town looks like. This is the basic town that pretty much has nothing. It's got a marketplace and a couple people to hire. So let's see what we got here. We got a survivor, 2 survivors. Well, he's titled the survivor. This guy's, they're both wild men. They're a little different to deal with. They're not bad by any means, but they don't get along usually very well with the other guys in your group. And so that can actually lead to problems in the future. But they're not as expensive either. And they're level 2 to start with. So, I mean, I've had both success and fails with them. So it goes both ways. Ulrich is a lumberjack, so he's experienced. He's got some decent padded armor. He comes with an axe. He is a bit expensive, though. So at this point, what you're trying to do is decide, what do you want to do? What kind of guys do you want? I could probably actually hire all 3 of these guys and keep on going. That wouldn't be a terrible move. But I also don't have what I need. Like right now, one thing you want... This, by the way, down here is where you organize your troops for the battle. So I need another archer type. And then I'd like 2 more for the front. So, honestly, I'm not sure how to approach this. I like lumberjacks, though. They're good guys. So we'll get the lumberjack guy, and we'll stick him up here. I don't have a shield for him. I'll have to deal with that. I actually don't know if I could afford that. There's quality wood here, so I'm going to grab those. It's always a risk to grab equipment like that, or these resources, but 90% of the time they sell well in other areas. Let's see here. I'm going to keep that bludgeon for now, and I'm going to give this guy a shield. The bow is low price here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a bow, and there is no quiver of arrows. That will be a problem. Alright, well, let's hope there's a quiver of arrows in this next area that we go to. So here's Helistad. That's the country bumpkin place. Or the city place. It looks like I could probably sell my wood there for pretty decent. As Helstad's skyline appears on the horizon, Alvar seeks a word with you. Never been to Helstad before, but I've been around ones that look a lot like it. Cities like these are great for selling goods, as all these prissy pompous pricks love to have their goods delivered with so many merchants. You can find almost everything you need to. Keep an eye out for bargains, and don't get swindled by them cutthroat merchants. Meinrad sees fit to add his own opinion of what you should do. If there's a good tavern, I say that's where we should go first. Nothing helps a man down on his luck more than a good pint. God knows we earned it. Alvar shakes his head. You say that every time we stop in the town. You say that even when you're already drunk. And I will keep it in mind. Alrighty. So this is a much bigger town. So you've got a church, temple. This, you go here to heal people that are pretty badly wounded. We got a weaponsmith, self-explanatory, they make weapons. You've got a tavern. Taverns are good. You go here, your people get happier from drinking booze, but you have to pay for it. You've got a training hall. Now these, you send your guys in here, you spend money, they gain levels, they gain a certain amount of experience. Right now, we can't really afford that. There's a large group of people here for recruiting, and then there's, like any other place, a marketplace. They don't have a quiver for a bow either. What do I have to do to get a quiver around here? They do have peat bricks, but I can sell this wood. So, I mean, we have a little bit more money to work with than we would have had originally. And it was a risk, because there's a good chance we would have come here and not been able to sell the wood, because it would have cost us, we would have paid money to transport it here to shore. This guy's got a bow and arrow on his own. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So now we have our other archer. He's a poacher, so that means he comes with bonuses towards using archery. He has a wonky bow. I don't think I've ever seen a wonky bow before. Alright, 30 to 50, 35 to armor, 55 against armor, 10% to hit, 7 tiles, -6. So it's basically the same as a short bow, only a little bit worse. Alright, let's see who else we got that we can hire. We got Alwyn, he's a deserter. I don't usually like getting deserters. They're not bad, but I've had them desert from me as well. So, yeah. This guy's a gravedigger. They all have little stories, but usually their stories are not so bad. This guy is a peddler. They're usually pretty good to have, but I don't like them on the front line. They don't do good there. This guy's militia. Can't afford him. So many problems. Okay, this guy's a brawler. But if you notice, these three don't cost anything. They're probably not worth it. This guy's good. Usually peddlers actually help you when you're trying to sell things or buy things. So I'm going to go ahead and get him because I can. And unfortunately, he's going to have to be front line. And let's see here. Let's make him a spear guy. They tend to survive a little bit longer. I do need a shield for him, so let's get a shield. sell the wonky bow. Go back over here. Stick that on you. Alright, we good on food. Alright. Sorry, it's mostly what I'm doing here is trying to equip my guys. I have a kind of basic setup, but I haven't played this in a while, so I'm just really trying to remember what all I'm doing. I know you want some food or money as a supply because your people cost you an upkeep every day. They have their fees and their wages. Alright, I think we are ready to go, or as ready as we're going to get for now. Let's head back. So I goes to your inventory. Alright, well let's get this show on the road. Lothar the Elder is pacing back and forth when you find him. The healer who damn near killed you with the fire poke is standing nearby. He's picking chunks of dried blood out of his fingernails. Lothar the Eldar claps his hands. Finally, you're here. I have good news. We got hold of one of Hogarth's former men. My good friend here had a nice little talk with the man, and now I know where Hogarth's licking his wounds. The healer clears his throat, splaying his fingers out like a maiden looking to paint them. He speaks as though he's identifying a disease he is about to excise. Yes, the brigand known as Hogarth is hiding in a small hut in the plains west of here. Based upon my most civil discussion with one of his men, Hogarth knows the Volsung is on his heels, and will have gathered more men since the last time you met him. Nodding, Lothar the Eldar waves you off. Good luck, Sellsword. We will return with his head. Alright. So a whole example with the wood, you saw one of the ways to make money in the game, and in the long run, you'll make more money by in that method than you will by doing missions. However, doing missions has its own benefits. Alright, so we're heading over here to Hogarth's Refugee. It's turning nighttime, so we'll get the bonus of a night combat. So this right here, before most battles, you get a brief scouting mission, okay? So it tells you what it is. A few brigand thugs. So brigand thugs are the low-level brigands that are melee based. A brigand poacher is a low-level based archer. So we're going to engage. Alright, so first one to move is my crossbow guy. None of them are in his range, so I'm literally going to push spacebar and have him wait. And the archer has the same story even with his sniper shot, so I'm going to have him wait. Now the reason I'm not moving forward is because we're on a hill already, which gives us an advantage. It has a defensive advantage for anyone trying to attack it. This guy, Mine Rod, is still hurt pretty bad. So to be honest, he's really going to sit this battle out more than anything else. Like, he's just going to sit there. I'm not really going to make him attack at all. They have an archer. I don't see him yet, so I'm going to make my frontline guys use a shield wall ability, which is basically they raise up their shield and they increase their defense by a significant amount. And it does help them a lot. Have him shoot this guy. He missed this guy and hit the guy behind him. That works too. I'm gonna actually have my guys move up one because they're trying to circle down here on the left. Archers in melee does not work at all. It's bad. There's their archer. Now you saw how his shield kind of flashed? That means he blocked the attack with his shield. you miss. Nice block. Aha, we killed one. Oof, that looked bad. I'm going to focus fire on that guy, because that is Hoggart, by the way. He's basically the boss for the tutorial mission. And this match right here, it is possible for my people to die. So I'm going to work on that. I don't want my people to die. And we killed Hoggart the Weasel, just like that. Perfect. You're still defending. This guy's going to stay there and defend. Have him move up here. Archers up on higher platforms, they have increased accuracy and range on the higher altitude. Missed. Now, this guy can't shoot anymore because he's here threatening him in his zone of control. So he actually swapped weapon to a club and began melee. But most archers don't have that kind of advantage. Reload and have him move over here. You can't move. Okay. You're going to defend. Now I have him defend because if he tries to shoot, these guys are actually in the way. I can show you that right here. See how there's like a red shield with like an arrow? That means that this, whatever is occupying this, is actually blocking you from hitting this guy. That doesn't mean you can't hit him. That means that there's a much higher chance that it's going to hit this guy instead of the target. So one way to get past that is you move your archers right behind them, and they'll shoot over their shoulder, and that basically works. It also works for spears, and not this kind of a spear, but there's longer spears like pikes and halberd type weapons that have longer distance. So this time nobody died. We had a little bit of damage taken. This guy must not be very heavy. He's got cut arm sinew, so he actually has a severe wound. Oh, we got amber. Okay, so this is our loot this time. We got money, which is always good. Amber is something you sell. It's basically like the wood. It's a commodity. Hoggart lies dead in a pool of his own blood, skewered into a grotesque and panicked pose. He didn't weasel his way out of this one. You put a boot on his corpse and look at your men. For the company! For all the men who have fallen. Alvar spits on the dead man's face. Let's take this bastard's head to get back to Dunkeld. It is time to get paid. And if you guys don't like me kind of doing my own little voice thing here, then let me know in the comments. Alvar joins your side. Got a moment, Captain? You nod him to speak his mind. The battle has left some gear for worse for wear, and some men got the good nicking too. You can patch up both men and equipment while marching, but it's a lot faster to sit down and do it. Of course, if we make camp, we should be wary of ambushes. A campfire in these parts can be seen from every which way. I will keep that in mind. So what he's referring to is you have the option to camp, and when you have equipment, like see how this guy's shirt is damaged? When you have equipment that's damaged, it's got the little hammer on it. Over time, it will repair, but it takes up tools and supplies. Another thing to keep in mind is when something at full price, when it's fully repaired at 100%, sells for a lot more than something that isn't. The company returns to Dunkeld as victors, their heads held much higher this time. The Volsung are not the size that they once were, but they're still a force to be reckoned with. As Hoggart learned in his final moments, you carry his head in a sack that you empty in front of Lothar, the elder's feet. He jumps back, but the healer quickly picks up the head and stares at it and nods. Lothar the elder approaches the brigand's bloodied face and eyes it carefully. Yes, this is ugly mud, all right. Servants, pay this man money. Coin in hand, you raise your voice to the men. As long as there is blood coursing through our veins, as long as we can hold sword and shield, there shall stand our company. All through the realm, people will know the Volsung. The men cheer. Wilfried the Hound puts his hand on your shoulder. You did well, Captain. No matter where you lead us, the men will follow you as brothers in battle. And you gain 400 crowns. So you got paid for your mission. At this time, it's nighttime, so we can't do anything in town, so I'm actually going to camp and wait until dawn. Alright. So we can sell the amber. We got a little bit more food supplies, that's good. And most of this stuff I'm actually going to equip onto my guys. So if you remember right, this guy was, he's my merchant man. I want him to stay alive, so I'm going to give him the heavy armor. That spear is the same as the one he's already got, so I'm going to swap it out so that they can repair this one, and I can sell this one. I mean, it won't make a big difference in the end, but it'll help out. It's a little bit of money. I'm going to do the same with this bow guy. I have a quiver of arrows too, but that doesn't really matter if it contains one or not. So the linen tunic is not better than any of my guys' gear at this point. So what about the shield? I forgot to look at that. This shield's full. I'm going to keep that because we can use that. I'm going to sell this wooden stick though. Yeah, that's basically garbage. So wooden stick, linen tunic, bow, and quiver. That should give us a little bit of money. Actually, I probably should have kept that bow and quiver, but it's okay. So I'm going to get a tool and supply and a medical supply, and that costs money. So there you go. So you are watching Takehitsu Gaming, and this is Takehitsu. If you like the movie, please hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more, please hit the subscribe. If you, I will see you guys another day. If you did not enjoy this, then I apologize for wasting your time. Thank you. Have a good evening.